here with my May wrap up. Oh my gosh. It's been a crazy couple of months. Just work is really busy. I had to go out of town for a week for work. So I'm behind on everything. Like, my apartment is a mess. I had my dance recital, a baby shower I like planned and attended. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, so I'm like I have a grandmother and an aunt and stuff, but she doesn't have a husband and she doesn't have any other kids, so it's just me. So I've been having to deal a lot with that, and my allergies have been awful. I have year-round allergies, but for whatever reason right now they're really bad, and it's just exhausting. Like, I've already taken like 2 naps today. My reading did take a little bit of a dip, I guess, in May, and I'm cooking as well. I'm doing my meal prep, so if you can hear like the stove or the exhaust fan or anything, that's what it is. And the timer's probably gonna go off while I'm filming this. So I ended up reading 6 books. I DNF'd a book. I'm not even going to talk about the DNF at this point, but I will talk about the 6 books I did read. First, I read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is the 4th Bridgerton novel, right? Yes. This is historical romance by Julia Quinn. I've been doing a reread of this series. I knew this was like my least favorite going in, but I was really hopeful I would like it better this time around. I did not at all. I gave it 2 stars. I had to really push myself to finish this, and I just felt like I had to because I was doing the reread for a review. It's an unrequited love story, which I did for Tropes this month, and I'm just not a fan of that at all. And sometimes I can find some that work. Actually, there are a few by Julia Quinn that do work for me, and people love this Bridgerton novel. For a ton of people, it's their favorite. I don't like it. I don't feel the chemistry or the romance between Colin and Penelope, and I don't particularly like Colin. I think he's kind of whiny. Then I read Hot and Badgered by Shelley Laurenston, and this had come out in like March, I think, and I'd been on a hold forever with the library for it because I had heard about it on the whatever DBSA podcast is called now. It's paranormal shifter romance, which I don't read a ton of paranormal anymore, but I read it every once in a while. It's the first book in a series called The Honey Badger Chronicles, and so the heroine is a honey badger shifter, and so are her 2 sisters, and her dad, who's a honey badger, is kind of a man whore, and so they're like different blends of honey badger and other things. Oh, hello, Murphy Cat. It was funny. It was fast-paced. There was tons of action. There are a ton of characters, so I gave this 4 stars. So there's a ton of characters. Sometimes I would get kind of confused, but I've read one other Shelley Laurenston book, and I think that's kind of normal-ish for her. The romance was cute, and otherwise the story was super crazy, but like in a really great, fun way. And there's a ton of diversity in this book as well, and I'm excited to keep reading the series. And then this one's a little weird, but I'm going to talk about it anyways because as far as I know, the author does plan on traditionally publishing it, and that is, I have a broken nail, and that is Studley Period by Serena Bowen, which I gave 5 stars. This was a serial she was doing where every Tuesday, I think for like 8 weeks, maybe 7, you would get a chapter of it, and it is new adult. It's related to her Ivy Year series, so it follows a freshman named Josephine and then Pepe, who is a hockey player. You see him in some of her other Ivy Years books as well. It was so fun and cute, and I've never done a serial before, and this serial proved why I don't, because they're torture waiting. But I was super excited every Tuesday to get that email. Like, I would be like checking, like, oh my gosh, it needs to come, so I can read it. And I'm very excited for her to traditionally publish it however she does that, so I can buy it and put it on my shelf. Although it'll probably be digital, maybe physical, that'd be nice. And then I finally finished Dragonfly in Amber by Diana Gabaldon. I gave this 4 stars. I had been reading this a little bit at a time at night. And overall, I would say I liked it. towards like the back section there was a ton of fighting and war involved, and that I started to kind of like bleh out of it. So it just kind of started to drag at those points. I was kind of up in the air throughout this book about continuing with the series or just trying to watch the show, or I don't know, because it's a long series and it's on a really big book, so it's like a really big time investment. But I think I have decided I will definitely pick up the next one at some point. I'll probably like ask for it for Christmas or something, because the way this ended did leave me interested in the next one, but not enough to be like, give it to me now, that kind of thing. And then I read To Sir Philip, words are hard, To Sir Philip with Love by Julia Quinn, which is the 6th Bridgerton novel. So it is obviously historical romance, and it is another reread for me. I gave it 4 stars. I actually ended up really enjoying this more than I remembered enjoying it. Like, I didn't remember hating it or anything. It was really sweet, and it dealt with some pretty serious issues like depression. There's some anger management problems in here, but it still had like that sweet tone to it. I really liked both the hero and the heroine, and Eloise was awesome. She's not always that type of heroine is not always my cup of tea, but she worked really well here. And I didn't even mind the kids. The hero has twins. Think like this book, think the movie The Au Pair, kind of, sort of. Should give you the right vibe for this story. And I don't always love kids in books, but the kids here are pretty good. And then I read The Raging Ones by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which I have an e-arc for from NetGalley. I gave it 5 stars, and I have already pre-ordered it. It's coming out in August. I will tell you that I am totally a fan of theirs. But I did really enjoy this. It's their first young adult sci-fi fantasy kind of a novel. It feels a little different for me from a lot of other YA that I have read. It's definitely a little more serious and a little more mature in content, which for me, obviously, I don't mind. And if I was a parent, I wouldn't mind letting my teenager read it. I probably wouldn't let a 12-year-old read it, but like a 14, 15-year-old I'd have no problem with. There's a really strong found family storyline in here. You follow 3 protagonists, 1 girl and 2 guys, and they're this really nice found family, and the Ritchies, that is something that they are amazing at writing. And all of the POVs are really interesting and are distinct. Oh, that's one of the reasons I don't read a lot of fantasy, because I have issues with the multiple POVs. But this worked for me, and Franny, the girl, is probably my favorite. What else can I say? There is a super cute romance in it. It is a male-male romance. I was keeping that secret because I thought it was a secret, and then Krista and Becca had like broadcasted it, so I guess it's not a secret. But it's really cute and fun, and this is going to be part of a duology, so, which is just crazy because so much happens in this first book. I have no idea what is going to happen in the second one and where it's going to go, but I am so excited to be along for the ride. If you've read Krista and Becca's other books, I highly suggest giving this a try when it comes out. I think you would like it. It's still their writing, just in a different setting, basically. Those are the books that I read in May. It is almost the end of June, and I will tell you, June is kind of a slow down month too for me. I think this happened last year as well. Yeah, I'm still ahead for my Goodreads goal, which really, like, that means whatever. But so thank you so much for watching, and I will try to be more consistent with my uploads, but I cannot make any promises because like family and my health comes first. So those things unfortunately have to take a priority. But I will definitely be back at some point, hopefully next week, with a June wrap up. Bye.